Hello, my awesome small group leaders. Thank you guys so much again for being with us today as we discover more about bravery and courage. And so this one, we're actually doing Daniel in the lion's den. And so this will be a really cool one to go and wrap into the courage mindset that we've been working on all month. And so this month, we're talking about courage, being brave enough to do what you should, even when you're afraid, right? Or even when things don't seem like they're going your way, and that kind of stuff. And so today's bottom line, you can do what you should because God is with you. And so no matter what's happening in life, no matter what storms are coming up in life, we know that God is with us. And so that is the encouragement and the anchor that we get to hold on to today. And then our key question for today, if you want to ask this for the older kids, is what is the bravest thing that you've ever done, right? So that bravery thing is just about how are we standing up for what's right? How are we doing what we know we should do, even when things don't seem like it's easy to do, right? And so all of that going to the Daniel and the Lion's Den, it's going to be a good one. Now, this first activity is really just your opening activity, right? And so it's going to be about darkness and sounds. And so what you're doing is connecting with this activity, okay? But basically, you'll have your kids go ahead and close their eyes, and then what you're going to do is you're going to snap your fingers somewhere along the line of, think of like a mohawk hairline, right? You're going to snap your fingers somewhere, and what they're going to do is they're supposed to point to where they think that sound came from. And so their eyes are closed; they have no idea where this is actually happening, but usually they're probably going to be a little bit off, because when it's someone else doing the snapping of the fingers, it doesn't, like, the sound, you can't really pinpoint the sound from what's behind you. And so anyway, that'll be an interesting one to really get them just warmed up connecting with you and stuff like that. This next activity, your second one, you can do, basically we have everyone sit in a circle, and there will be one student in the middle of that circle, okay? And with this, they will be blindfolded or have their eyes closed, okay? And they have to keep it completely closed the whole time. And then you'll have one student roar like a lion around them. And so you'll point to someone, and then that kid will roar like a lion. And then the one in the middle is supposed to point and discover who it is, or say who they think it is, right? Try to use names if you can in this one. A lot of the kids already know each other, and so they should know their names. That should be a simple one. And then we're going to go to a large group and learn about how David was he was steadfast in the Lord, even though he was thrown into a den of lions, all of this stuff, and he trusted in God no matter what. And so we're going to dive into that a little bit. Then when you come back, your after Bible activity 1, it's kind of if your kids are just a little bit too hyper and they haven't really focused in yet, okay? And so do this one if they're not really focused in yet. Go ahead and skip to activity 2, after video activity 2 first, if your kids are already kind of focused and they're ready to learn, okay? But this first one, basically you'll have them partner up, and you're going to do a big tic-tac-toe board. And with these partners, they are not supposed to look at each other's papers as they are answering these questions, okay? What they're going to do is write down different answers to the question that you're going to pose for some sort of category. And if they have matching ones inside of the tic-tac-toes that they both answered the same, then they get points for it, okay? If they have matching ones that are in the exact same location, then they get like 100 points. And so basically what you're doing is you're having them, you're gonna name a category. Say like animals in a zoo, right? And in this tic-tac-toe board, you'll have it kind of divided or whatever in a tic-tac-toe. In this tic-tac-toe board, they're supposed to write down in every single blank all of the animals that they would find in a zoo, okay? Now, when they match up with their partner, they're gonna do it separately, and then when they come together with their partner, they're gonna figure out, okay, did we write the same animals either in the same spaces or not in the same spaces? And then you can rank points accordingly. And so on here, it talks about a couple of different ways, a couple of different categories that you can do after that. But basically, you earn like an extra 100 points if they have the same word in the same box. And then if you get like 3 in a row, that's 100 points. And then give them like 50 points for each one that they get similar and stuff like that, okay? So again, that's just kind of getting them warmed up. This next one will be really cool. It's like a comic book. And so you'll give them all a piece of paper that is kind of like a comic book style. And basically what they're doing is they're supposed to look up the Daniel 6, 1 through 23, and they're supposed to write down the different parts of the story on kind of how it happened, okay? And so For like Daniel worshiped only God, draw an idol in the circle, and so like he was like, I'm not going to worship idols, I'm not going to worship this other king, I'm going to only worship the Lord. And so basically what they're doing is they're either drawing or writing different narrative or script that they heard about in the story. Okay, and again they can reference that Daniel 6 1 through 23 as you do that. And then there's some really good questions in the bullet points right below that as well on that sheet, and there's some really good discussion questions after that too. So as they go through this is of course diving into that real Bible story about what it's all about. And then this next one, you'll have some sentence starters for the memory verse activity. And with the memory verse activity, you'll have to look up Joshua 1:9 again. And basically what you're doing is you'll have some die. And then what you're going to do is they'll throw the die and then they'll have to answer one of these sentence starters, okay, depending on what their die rolled on. So if they roll a 3, I need to remember this verse when, and then they have to fill in the blank, like when I'm afraid or when I'm scared or when I'm nervous about a test or whatever it may be, right? And so have them go through that together as the sentence starters and really apply that verse to what's actually going on in their life. And so have them really be focused in on that, on like actually doing it and actually applying it to where they're getting something out of it and they're realizing, oh, the Bible actually helps me in my real life. That's the goal there. Those were all your study ones, right? So we have connect, and then we're supposed to study, and now we're moving on to prayer, right? And so this prayer closing activity basically, you just want to pray for bravery, okay? And so talk about that verse again, the memory verse, and how we're supposed to be brave, how God is with us no matter what, and so we can be strong and courageous, right? And so go through that and lead them in a prayer in those moments, talking about how they can be courageous and encouraging them to be courageous and all of those things. Also, we do have a new sheet for you guys, and this is basically like a roster sheet, if you will. And so with this roster sheet, go ahead and start marking off the kids when they're here. Go ahead and do it kind of like the attendance sheet that we do. If you want, you can do this instead of the attendance sheet that me or Miss Shannon or whoever walks around and typically does. That will help you keep track of who's been here and who's not been here in the past couple of weeks. If you notice that a student has not been here in a while, then feel free to text that parent. That's why we have the little parents' phone numbers on there. So you can text the parent and be like, hey, we missed you guys. Can we pray for you guys? Just missing you. Do you guys need anything? Anything like that. And so just trying to teach them and help them realize that we care and that we're looking out for them, that we do miss their students and stuff like that. That's it, guys. Thank you, guys. We'll see you soon.